Hi everyone, so welcome to today's Strong Mobility Flow with me, Sinead Brophy of Go with the Flow Coaching. Today what we'll be working on is the Cossack squat movement, and we'll also be working a little bit on kind of upper body strength as well, but it'll be mostly kind of opening up the hips and the hamstrings as well. But as always, what we're going to do is get set up by starting with the total body warm-up using CARs, those controlled articular rotations. So if you want, I find it a little bit more comfortable to be sitting on it or kneeling on a pillow. Just make sure that you're comfortable. And what we're going to do is start with our neck. So we're going to bring our chin down towards our chest. We're going to scoop the chin out along the collarbone, looking over that left shoulder. We're going to drop the ear down towards the left shoulder and then reach back up and around, just avoiding any pinching at the back of the side of the neck. Dropping this ear, my right ear, down towards my right shoulder and looking over that right shoulder. Bring the chin down on the collarbone, back up to the start, and we're going to reverse it. Head goes down. Head goes out along the right collarbone to look over the right shoulder. Right ear goes down towards right shoulder. I'm going to bring the chin back up and around, up towards the ceiling, all the way over. Left ear goes down towards left shoulder. Let's look over. And then chin comes down along that collarbone, back to our starting position and back in towards the center. We're going to do that one more time. Chin comes down. Out along the collarbone. Keep those shoulders relaxed. Drop the left ear down towards the left shoulder. Reach back up and around. Keeping the shoulders relaxed. Drop that right ear down towards the right shoulder and looking over the right shoulder. Let's bring the chin down along the collarbone and back up to the start. What we're going to do, a couple of shoulder rolls. So we're going to squeeze the shoulder blades down, up, down, forward, and up. A few more on these. So try and get them moving together. So you can see my right shoulder is lagging very slightly behind my left. So that's my little work on that I want to try and see if I can coordinate them a little bit better. And then let's change direction. Back, down, squeeze the shoulder blades up, forward, and down. Squeeze up, down. Squeeze up, forward, and down. We're also going to do a little bit of wrists. So just go for normal wrist rolls. The forearms can move. Oh, you can hear a few clicks there in my wrists. So again, just kind of getting them a little bit warmed up. We're going to interlace the fingers and roll the wrists this way. And then come back the other direction. You're going to go for a few waves, so just rolling those wrists. One or two more times, and then let's change direction. Good. Now, what we're going to do, imagine you've got a teacup or your mobile phone resting on your two forearms. And we're going to try and draw big circles with our knuckles without the forearms twisting. So I'm going to try and keep them really, really flat. As I draw my wrists one way and then draw with my wrists the other way. So my knuckles are almost trying to draw a big circle on a piece of paper in front of me. If I want to make it that little bit more challenging, I bring my hands out so they're flat. But really the challenge is here that the hands don't curl. So you can see my right hand is wanting to curl there. And then let's come back, up, over, around, and back. Fantastic, almost there. One or two more. And back. And then let's take a rest out. Sorry if you hear that motorbike in the background. What we're going to do is we're going to come down onto the ground and we're going to do what's called a side lying hip car. So if you have that pillow, you can just use it, rest it in underneath the ear. And what we're going to do is try and draw a circle with our hip. So have those knees out in front. Again, we've done these normally in quadruped position. We're just changing very slightly. We're going to lift that leg up. Let's kick that leg behind us. Squeeze the glute and hamstring. We're going to lift the shin parallel to the floor, straight up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to rotate the knee up towards the ceiling without this hip dropping back. So I'm keeping my hips stacked on top of each other, bringing that knee up towards my shoulder and then back down. And we're going to reverse it. Knee comes up. Let's lift up. Knee goes in, ankle goes up. Scoop the hip back and around. and all the way down. We're going to go back the way we came. One more time. Squeeze the glute and hamstring. Lift the shin bone parallel to the mat and to the ceiling. The knee comes up. Make sure you don't rock that hip back. Up in towards the torso. Back down, and then let's reverse it. Knee comes up towards the chest. Lift up. Watch that the hip doesn't shift. Knee goes down, ankle goes up. Internal rotation. This is the tough bit. Come down. And then forward. We're going to push up and change over onto the other side. So lying down, squeeze the glute and hamstring. Let's kick that leg back behind us. Lift up, reach that knee up towards the ceiling. Bring the knee up towards the shoulder. Back down in line with our chest. And then comes back. Lovely stuff. So bring that knee up towards the chest. Let's lift the leg straight up. Drop the knee down, ankle up. Let's bring that leg back behind us. Squeeze the glute and hamstring. Lower down. And then come back in. Let's push back. Same again. Squeeze that glute and hamstring. Make sure the hip doesn't rock back. Lift the leg up. Rotate the knee up towards the ceiling without the hip rolling back. Bring that back in. Down. And come back to our starting position. We're going to reverse it last time. Knee comes up towards the torso. Lifts up. Knee goes down. Ankle goes back. The hip is getting nice and warmed up again. We shouldn't feel any pinching through the hip. It should just feel the muscles working around the hip joint. And then we're going to roll over onto our back. We're going to go into some segmental glute bridges. So they're basically like the reverse of what we've done with our cat-cows. We're going to take a breath in. Tip the tailbone forward. A little bit of arch in our lower back. And then around through that spine. Squeeze the glutes. Peel our spine back up off the mat, inch by inch. Up onto our shoulder blades, and then let's reverse it, peeling that spine back down onto the mat. So you can see how slowly I'm doing this. My hamstrings and my glutes are engaged. I'm lowering that back down onto the mat with control. Let's tip the tailbone forward, come back. We're going to do this 3 times. Slow and controlled, peel the spine up. Let's come down, all the way down. Squeeze the glute and hamstrings. Rock the tailbone forward. Rock the tailbone back. Last time we're doing these, let's peel the lower back up off the mat. Peel the mid back up off the mat. And we're up onto our shoulder blades. Let's lower down with control, inch by inch. Really slow that down. You can see I'm a little bit clunky there on that last one, getting a little bit fatigued. And then take a rest. What we're going to do now, figure 4 variation of that. If that felt tough enough, stick with that. If that felt quite comfortable, bring your left leg across your right knee in that figure 4 position. Same idea, let's tip the tailbone forward. Let's tip it back, around through that lower back. I'm squeezing my glutes here and I'm trying to drive that knee out to the side as I use this glute to lift my hips up. And then I'm rounding down through that spine again, keeping my hips open. Again, you can try not let this hip drop down first. Lovely open through that hip flexor. Let's do the same again. Peel, peel, peel. I drive that knee out, drive the knee out, opening up my hips, squeeze the glute. And then let's lower back down, nice and controlled. Fantastic. You can see there's a little wobble there. It's going to take that control. My glutes are both working. And fantastic. Let's change over onto the other side. Again, if the first variation felt tough enough, you just stick with that. Rock the tailbone forward. Let's peel back. Squeeze the glute and hamstrings. Let's drive the knee out to the side, all the way up. And then let's slowly come back down, inch by inch. Nice work. And then let's come back down. Rock the tailbone forward. Rock the tailbone back. Peel the spine up off the mat. Inch by inch, all the way up, drive that knee out, get the stretch through the hip flexors, opening up the pelvis, and then lower down again. Nice and controlled. Try and not just let that lower back drop down. You can take the foot off. We're going to roll over onto our side. We're going to push up, and we're going to come into a quadruped position. So you can just place the pillow to the side. What we're going to do, have the hands slightly forward. Knees out to the side. We're going to do some rocks to a frog push-up. So sitting those hips back, nice big stretch. And then I'm coming forward. I'm going to squeeze my glutes. I'm making sure I'm not arching through the back so my tailbone slightly tucked under. And we're going to drop down, push up. Now, how low we go down is going to depend on how mobile and open our hips are. So some of us might only go to here, some of us might go to it all the way down without arching to the back. That is fine. Breathing in, breathing out, come forward. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Push back. Lovely. One more time, coming forward. And let's sink back. I'm going to get you to bring the knees in underneath the hips. You're going to step one foot forward, and we're going to go into what's called ankle pelvis rounds and then a coat hanger stretch. So for me, it's quite comfortable for me to sit in this position. So you might want to have a pillow underneath your hips. Other people might need to be here with that leg further back, or you can also have this ankle up onto a chair or a bench in front of you. I'm going to make sure my toes are splayed. I'm going to lean slightly forward, and I'm going to get that stretch through the calf. So my heel is driving down into that mat. Just going to try and breathe here. For me, it's a little bit more comfortable if I have those hands counterbalancing out front. For others, it might be more comfortable to have the hands crisscross like this, kind of weighing you down a little bit more. They'll go a little bit deeper into that stretch. For others, having the hands beside. So you're just going to see what feels best for you, what gives you the best stretch. Now we're going to start pushing the toes down into the mat as if I'm trying to claw the ground with my foot. Push, 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 push. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dig the heel down. I'm going to try kicking these muscles the front of my shin. And I'm going to try and lift the toes up off the mat. Get a deep stretch down the back of my calf into my Achilles tendon. Just going for about 50-60% for this first time. And then let's push down again for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's pull up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Push down again for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pull up again for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time push for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to bring my hands on either side of that foot, come out of that stretch a little bit. I'm going to push up into a hamstring stretch. I can move this leg back a little bit further if I want to. Bend that knee down in my sprinter position. Push the leg up into that hamstring stretch. And same again. Knees down. Push up. Knees down. Push up. Knees down. Push up. One more time. Let's push up. If it's comfortable, you can drop that other heel down and just go into a bit of a hamstring and calf stretch. So hamstring and calf here. Calf of that back leg. Lovely, and then we're going to slowly come out of that and change over onto the side. Other leg forward again, find a position that's comfortable for you. You might be leaning slightly forward. Just make sure that your heel is pinned to the ground, your toes onto the ground, your toes are splayed, and we're getting that stretch through the calf. So again, you can just kind of reposition your foot any way you have to. Just keep the heel flat on the mat or on the chair if you're elevated on the surface in front of you. Just going to get a stretch for a couple of breaths here, and then we're going to start doing those push and pulls again. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to push the toes down into the mat. Just 40-50%. Push, 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 push. And then let's dig the heel down. Pull the toes up towards the hamstrings. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's push the toes down again. 50-60% now for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's dig the heel down. Try and pull those toes up towards your shin. All those muscles inside the shin are kicking in for 5. Let's push down. 70-80% now, or whatever is comfortable for us. Keep pushing, keep pushing, Keep pushing, same again. Let's pull those toes up, 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 up. And then last time, push for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's pull up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to bring those hands down on either side of my foot. I'm moving my back foot a little bit further back and then up and down. Again, if you have blocks, you can have blocks on either side of this hand. If you don't have blocks, you just go up as far as you can. So it's going to be different for different people. Push up again, knee down, push up again, knee down. And then last time, let's just rock that back heel down if we can into that calf and hamstring stretch. Breathing in here, nice and controlled. What we're going to do, we're going to step forward. We're going to come to the top of our mat. What we'll do is we'll just take a deep breath in, reach up, breathe out, fold forward. Breathe in, chest up, breathe out, fold forward. We're going to step back with our left foot. Breathe in, reach those hands up. Let's rotate now on our back leg into warrior 2. We're going to bring the elbow down towards our knee, reach up and over into that side angle pose. We're going to come back, up and out. Straighten that front leg. I'm going to fold and reach forward and then down towards the mat into that triangle pose. Look up towards the hand again. If I had that block, I'm just placing that block on the ground. I'm going to come out of that and then reach back into reverse triangle pose. Back into warrior 2. I'm going to pivot on that back foot again. Chest up nice and proud. Ooh, try not to lose your balance. I'm going to fold forward. Let's step back. Lowering down with control. Push up. Lovely. Curl the toes under. Push back. And then left leg lifts up. Steps forward in between those two hands. Kick off that back leg. Breathe in. And we're going to do the same again. Breathe out, breathe in. Reach up. Breathe out. Fold forward. Breathe in. Halfway lift. Breathe out. Fold forward. You're going to step back with that right leg into that high lunge. I'm going to rotate on that back leg. Just pivot. So I'm at 45-degree angle into warrior 2. I'm going to bring my left elbow down on top of my left knee. Reach up with that right hand, creating a nice big straight line from the tips of my fingertips all the way down to my right heel. I'm going to come out of that into warrior 2. I'm going to straighten that front leg, lean forward, reach the hands down towards the mat, right hand up. I'm going to come out of that. I'm going to lean back, sliding that right hand down my thigh, down the back of the right leg. Let's come out of that, bend that front knee, rotating the chest is forward, dropping that hip down. Let's fold forward, hands back down to the mat, step back with that left foot. Breathe out, lower down, breathe in, breathe out, step back. Get a nice big stretch, hips high. I'm going to get you to lift the right leg up now. We're going to step forward in between those two hands, lovely. Kick off that back leg and into a forward fold. Breathe in and then breathe out. I'm just going to toe heel the feet out to the outside of my mat, pointing the toes out very slightly. Maybe hip distance or a little bit wider. I'm going to fold forward, get a nice big stretch on the back of the hamstrings, and we're going to go into a cook squat. I'm going to drop the hips down, chest high. And if I need to, my hands right in front for the bit of counterbalance. If this is quite comfortable, I'm going to put my right elbow, into that right knee and lift my left hand up towards the ceiling. So notice how my hips are lower than my chest. I'm not here, I'm here or here. Let's change on to the side, reach up. Lovely. Coming back down towards the center, push those hips back up, hamstring stretch. And then coming back up, we're going to do the same again. Breathe out, fold forward. Breathe in. Now, right hand up, left elbow just gently presses in towards the left knee. Let's change over onto the other side. And then let's come back into our deep squat. Now, if you're comfortable with crow, you just go into a crow position. So elbows are hooking on the inside of the knees. You just lean forward. If you want to, you can just go for a minimum one where you just lift one foot up off the ground, one foot off the other ground, and just swap and change between those. But again, if you're not comfortable with that, you're just staying in your deep squat position, chest up nice and proud. We're going to come out of that one last time. Hips up, just hanging in that hamstring stretch. And what we're going to do now is we're going to come down into a deep squat for some pills and rails. This might be new for some of you guys, and if it is, just grab a chair so you have it in front of you or something that you can kind of hold on to as you're going to stay back and down into that deep squat. If there's absolutely no way that you can be able to stay in this deep squat position, come into a seated butterfly pose. So we're down into our deep squat, hands are in the center of our chest, elbows are just gently pushing into the knees, chest up nice and proud. And then what we're going to do is just very gently push the elbows against the knees and the knees and against the elbows for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Try and switch on the glutes and imagine pulling those knees out against this way. So as if they're going away from the elbows. Now, elbows go back in, chest up nice and proud. Let's push, push, push. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Let's squeeze the glutes. Try and open those knees out to the side. Good. Try and sit maybe a little bit more upright. Elbows come back inside the knees. And then last time, let's push for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lovely. Take those hands away. Hold the legs out to the side. So again, you can always be in a seated position for this. This is quite tough. Nice, strong core, strong lower back, strong glutes. Everything is engaged. Fantastic. We're going to hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's fold forward. Push the hips up. Let's bring those feet back in towards the center. And we're just going to walk those feet back, pushing back into a downward dog position. I'm just going to get you to pedal out the heels here. So heel goes down, comes back in. Heels go down, come back in, get a nice big stretch. Again, we're working a lot on the calves, a lot on the hips. Fantastic. Now have your pillow nearby. We're going to come into a bit of a quad stretch a little bit. So if you need that pillow onto the back foot, by all means, or your back knee, by all means, go grab it. I'm going to get you guys to lift that right knee up. We're going to come forward and step that right foot outside the right hand. Let's drop that left knee down. And we're just going to hold here. It's going to rock slightly back, slightly forward, slightly back, and slightly forward. Again, just getting that little bit of hamstring stretch. You're doing my sessions, they're always fairly hamstring heavy, which is what we need. Now, take a rest here. What we're going to do is I'm going to lift that left heel up towards my left glute. So I'm actively using my hamstring here to try and hold that in position. I'm going to reach my right hand back. And I'm into that corkscrew stretch again, opening up the chest, squeeze that back glute, get that lovely stretch down the back leg. I'm just going to hold here. We want to be a little bit stronger, and I'm pushing that foot into my hand. And then I'm just going to release and come out of that. Again, if you have that chair in front of you, you can just move it to the side to hold onto it for a little bit of counterbalance. I'm going to bring my right foot in, and I'm going to start walking my hands in towards the center as I come up onto my left foot. So I'm lifting that left knee off the ground. My left foot now, the toes are pointed forward. I've walked that right foot at a slightly 45-degree angle, and then I'm going to try and pivot on that left heel and sit my hips down. Now, for some of us who might need to let that heel come up a little bit, if we can, we're going to try and keep that heel down and bring the hands out to the front. So again, some of us might be here, heel up. We're trying to get the heel down as close to the ground as we can, using our upper back strength to hold us in this position. My left toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. I'm going to bring the hands forward and let's walk the hands in towards the center, and I'm into that wide-legged forward fold. Keep the legs straight. Again, if I want to maybe go a little bit deeper,
I'm just holding the outside of my feet or my big toes and just pulling myself into that stretch a little bit more. Again, if you need a bolster or 2 blocks underneath your hands, please hold that. Again, just notice if one hamstring is tighter than the other. So for me, for sure, my right hamstring is tighter. You can probably see it in my, my leg length. So just leaning forward and just relax here. I'm going to bring my 2 hands in towards the center now. My right hand is in the center of that mat, just slightly in front of my feet. And I'm going to reach the left hand up towards the ceiling. So I want to make sure that that hand is in underneath my shoulder. I'm not trying to get in between my feet or underneath my legs. Lovely. Let's change onto the other side. Reach and rotate. Again, if this is too intense, you can just stick with the pose that you were doing before. Lovely, and then the hand comes back down. What we're going to do is shift our weight over towards the other side. So I'm just walking the left toes to point out towards 45-degree angle. I'm walking my hands out. If I need to, I just slide that leg in a little bit more. So if maybe my leg is a little bit too far, that's fine. And for me, my left ankle is always a little bit less mobile. So it's probably going to lift up here a little bit. Oh, it's actually all right. Pointing those right toes up towards the ceiling, trying to sink those hips back and down, opening up the hips, getting a deep stretch into that left calf, using the muscles of my upper back to hold myself up. I'm just trying to drop into that, drop the hip down towards the ground, get a deep stretch into my groin and into that leg. Fantastic. Let's slowly come out of that. I'm going to pivot around. Point my left toe forward. My right toes are pointing down the ground. My heel is up. I'm going to drop that back knee down. I'm going to pull that right heel in towards my right glute. My right hand is on the ground and I'm reaching back with that left hand to take the right foot. And just pushing into the hand very slightly. Okay. I'm going to release that, bring my left hand down towards the mat, and then I'm just walking those hands back into that side hamstring stretch, walking forward, walking back, walking forward, and walking back. Lovely. What we're going to do, place the 2 hands on the inside of the foot, lift that back knee up off the ground, let's step back with that left foot, push back and down into that downward dog. And what I'm going to get you to do is just step the left foot out with the left toes pointing out, step the right foot out with the right toes pointing out, lifting up onto the balls of our feet, heels high, and then let's drop the heels down just very slightly, bend the knees. We're going to do that again. Push up onto the balls of our feet, bend the knees, keep the heels high for this actually. Let's stay up. And now we're going to go into a full wave unload. So I'm bending those knees, I'm into that loaded beast position. I'm lifting my hips up and then I'm pulling myself forward, all the way forward, rounding through that spine. Lovely, nice and controlled. Squeezing the glutes, dropping the hips down, shoulders back and down, chest up, chin up. And then I'm just going to lower myself down here. So rather than pushing back the way I came, lowering myself down, my forehead is just resting on the mat. Hands are out in front on either side of my head. And then I'm just going to breathe out and I'm just going to push up onto my forearms. Looking forward, just squeezing the glutes, lowering back down. I'm going to bring my right hand back slightly, left hand forward slightly, push up and look over that right shoulder towards my right heel. Let's lower back down onto the other side. Left hand back, right hand forward, push up, look over towards that left heel. Lowering down, walk the hands back. I'm going to engage my core, push back and up, and then I'm into that child's pose, just resting my head down on the ground. So when we're doing this, we're just trying to breathe nice and gently, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Just letting the tension of our lower back go. Just going to walk those hands back up now towards the knees. I'm going to come into a seated position. Again, I can be sitting on my pillow, it's a little bit more comfortable. I'm just going to bring the soles of the feet together. I'm going to try and walk those hips in as close as I comfortably can towards my heels. It's going to be different for different people. I'm going to sit up nice and tall, and I'm trying to use my glutes, just like we did in that deep squat variation, to pull the knees out towards the side. And just I'm pulling my chest up, sitting up nice and tall. Trying to open up those hips as much as I can. Again, I'm active here, I'm not passive. I'm using my muscles. And now I'm just going to relax into that, roll forward, and just relax. So I'm not active here, I'm passive, and letting the weight of my head pull me slightly forward. If I want, I can maybe walk those hands out in front. Maybe they're behind me for a little bit of support. Whatever feels most comfortable, but just relax into it. I'm just going to take a few more deep breaths here. So breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And then breathe out. Let's walk those hands back in. Slowly coming out of that. And then we're done. Thanks so much for joining me on this flow today. I hope your hips are nice and open. I know mine are for sure. But yeah, have a great day, and I will see you all later.